All right. So we ended up diving over here to StreamYard because Zoom is having some hacking issues over there. So we're not going to even deal with any of that. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the beginning for the people that are just joining us. And that way we can grab our recording for the replays for people who signed up to be able to receive the replay. So this is our one of our more popular topics, and I think it's super interesting because positivity is one of those things that gets kind of thrown around a lot in just well everywhere really, and social media especially. We hear lots of people talking about living a positive life or positivity or positive vibes and all that stuff, but it's I like to figure out like what does that really mean. And I do want to introduce myself for the people that have no idea who I am. I am Maria Daniels. I'm a serial entrepreneur, a mom, a wife. I have 7 children. I'm a podcaster, a speaker, and a nutritionist. But I'm also a survivor of lots of traumas and multiple setbacks. I only tell you that because while I can tell my story of all the things that I've done in life, it's really a story of resilience and determination. And it's also a story about finding my own source of happiness and positivity within myself. And I think that's a huge thing for a lot of people because we want to all be happy. We want to live a positive life, but sometimes life happens, right? Life isn't always happiness. There's lots of great moments in life, but there's also hard times in life. And I think for a lot of people, they think that living a positive life means there's never any setbacks, never any obstacles, but that's not what that means. But today we're going to be looking at this a little more in depth and talking about it from even a scientific level. We're going to be talking about the science behind positivity and how it directly influences your brain, your productivity, your creativity, your problem solving, and even your overall well being. We're going to be talking about how a growth mindset is needed to overcome any challenges, to adapt to change, and view failures as stepping stones to success. We're also going to be exploring techniques on cultivating self awareness and identifying limiting beliefs, negative patterns, and self sabotaging behaviors. And we'll learn how to reframe any setbacks that we may have and obstacles that we may have as opportunities for growth and resilience. We're going to discover the transformative impact of gratitude and learn practical strategies to incorporate gratitude into daily routines. And we're also going to learn how to understand the importance of building positive relationships in our lives and creating a supportive network to enhance your entrepreneur journey. And we're also going to be identifying actionable steps to implement positive habits, rituals, strategies that helps to fuel success and fulfillment in your life. So I know that's a lot of things that we're going to be covering, but it's super important to kind of understand positivity from that level. We really need to look at how it works, right? So let's talk a little bit about the science behind positivity. So I'm going to tell you this, guys. For people that know me, they've probably already figured out that I have like lots of layers. We all have lots of layers, right? But even the people that know me and they've known me for a long time figure out how many layers Maria really has. And one of those layers is I am a big old science nerd. I love science to the point that I have my own microscope, I have my own goggles. I love science. Science is one of those things that has always been something that excited me. I want to know how it works. And for positivity, I wanted to look at it from a scientific level to say, okay, well, positivity is great. I want to live a positive life. I want to be happy, but what does that actually mean? What does that mean for me, my brain? How does it work within my life? Let's add some substance to that, right? So the science behind positivity is actually very vast. There's been lots of studies done just on positive thinking. And one of the things I found super interesting is that positive thinking can lead to increased productivity and increased creativity. And there's a lot of reasons why that is. But when we're talking about productivity itself, the positive emotions actually activate the prefrontal cortex of the brain, and which the prefrontal cortex is actually the part of the brain that is responsible for executive functions like decision making, focus, self-control. And this helps to lead to increased productivity and the ability to stay on task. So if you're like me, and you're very ADHD on things, positive emotions, tapping into those positive emotions can actually help you stay on task. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Look it up. In addition, positivity improves motivation because it releases dopamine in the brain. That's that neurotransmitter that's associated with like the reward and pleasure. So it's like that feel good, happy hormone in your brain. And it encourages people to engage in goal directed behaviors and to keep going, right? So it's that motivation part of the brain that's like, yeah, that feels good, doesn't it? Keep on going, keep on going. That is huge for continuing on whatever path that you're wanting to stay on. If you're able to tie that to a positive emotion. Another fun fact is that positive emotions actually broadens your attention and thinking, and it allows people to consider a wider range of possibilities and solutions. So this flexibility boosts productivity and it leads to more innovative approaches and things to challenges that may arise. And that's huge. So if you're, out on your entrepreneur journey and you hit an obstacle, which I guarantee is going to happen if you're on that journey, if you're able to kind of find some type of positive emotion, you're able to actually broaden your attention. You're actually able to innovate and adjust and pivot and make the things that you need to happen, even if all the other stuff is kind of burning down around you, right? And creativity. This is some fun stuff about creativity because that's another term that kind of gets thrown out there a lot. Like, I'm a creative, I'm a creator, creativity. And a lot of people only associate that to like art or making something, which it is that, but it's deeper than that. Your creativity is actually, a cognitive function. So positive thinking actually enhances that cognitive flexibility and helps you to think outside of the box. It helps you to make connections between ideas. It helps you to promote the idea that you're thinking kind of out of the box. So original thinking. It helps all of those things. Positive emotions also help to broaden the scope of attention, remember? So that also allows you to look at different creative, inspiring ways to be able to, help whatever is going on kind of in your journey. In addition, a positive mood helps to reduce cognitive biases and limitations. So it literally frees your mind to explore unconventional ideas and take risks. And that helps to foster creativity. Another fun kind of science fact about positivity is that it helps you improve your problem solving skills. Seriously, guys, positivity improves your problem solving skills because of its enhancement to all of your cognitive resources back to the brain, right? It works with memory, cognitive control, analytical thinking. Positivity can help you broaden your thought action to be able to look for flexible and adaptive problem solving strategies. So, again, a lot of people think that, when they're going through the muck of whatever it is in life, that they're stuck, right? That they don't know what they need to do to take that step forward. But here's the deal, but just by trying to find one positive thought, just by trying to find one thing that you can think about that's positive out of this, it can literally change the course of all of the things that are going on because your brain is going to be able to be more flexible, more adaptive, more problem solving, more creative, more productive, which is going to in turn help you figure out how you need to get out of whatever situation that you're in life. Because that's the thing, when you're faced with obstacles, a positive mindset encourages you to perceive these challenges as surmountable, and it motivates you to persist in finding a solution to whatever it is. Your well-being. Positive thinking has such an impact on your overall well-being that I could make an entire, course out of just that topic alone because it is so important. Positive emotions have a direct impact on not only your mental health, but also on your physical health. It, helps you to reduce cardiovascular disease, inflammation, and helps to improve your immune system function just by positive thinking, just by finding positive emotions. It also, of course, helps to promote psychological well being by, kind of creating a buffer against stress, anxiety, depression. It helps people be able to bounce back from adversity and build resilience, which is huge because, again, like I mentioned earlier, life can be, crazy and chaotic and hard, but it also can be amazing and beautiful and wonderful. And it's taking those moments when it feels so heavy and so hard and finding one thing that you can be positive about and building upon that, because cultivating positivity through practices like gratitude and mindfulness and positive self-talk is literally scientifically proven that it helps you get out of that situation, to get out of that mindset, helps to protect your well-being, to protect your health. No matter what has happened, you can be a positive person by tapping in to positive emotions and broadening your mindset. And yeah, that's the reason that early on, I mentioned that, I've had lots of traumas. I've had lots of setbacks. And, you know, those are things that can make or break somebody, but it's also something that if you hone in on it, you take the lessons from it, you decide that even if you're still going to be able to do what it is that you want to do, you're still going to use that as a stepping stone to be able to get to where you want to be. It's remarkable that the brain has the ability to reorganize itself. And it can be for good or for bad. It can reorganize itself based on experiences. And, your experiences have a lot to say about how the brain, reacts to things, but you can train the brain. It's called neuroplasticity. And that literally enables the brain to create new neural pathways and adapt to any challenges. So, if you're in a moment where you feel like you're listening to this and you're like, okay, yeah, that's really easy, Maria. You can say, be positive, be positive. You don't understand what I'm going through right now. Maybe I don't, but I can tell you that I've been through some hard times. And the key to being resilient and being able to decide that you're going to still live a positive life, you're still going to develop and design a life that you want, no matter what is going on around you, is that you have to start with that positive thought. That positive thought plants a seed, and that seed goes into the brain. And in the brain, that neuroplasticity, is able to create new neural pathways that allows you to continue on no matter what's going on, that allows you to build upon that one positive thought, that allows you to design your life the way that you want it. So, one of the things that I mentioned to be able to kind of adapt to challenges and see opportunities for growth and being able to live a positive life and develop positive emotions and a positive mindset is the term growth mindset. Now, again, that's something that's kind of been thrown out there a lot, but it is important to understand, what does this mean? What does this mean? How do I implement it? What does that mean in my life? What does that mean to living a positive life? Growth mindset is something that I think everyone can use as an opportunity for growth and learning, because with growth mindset, you look at things a little differently. So, with growth mindset, one of the things that you want to do to be able to develop your growth mindset is learn to embrace challenges. They're going to happen no matter what. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many followers you have or don't have. I don't care how many clients you have or don't have. It doesn't matter. Challenges are going to arise. no matter what. So, one of the ways that you are able to still live a positive life and kind of combat the negativity that wants to drown us in these challenging moments is you decide, it's a decision. You decide that you are going to adapt a growth mindset, which means that you're going to be receptive to these things. Number one, you're going to embrace challenges. With a growth mindset, entrepreneurs or people in general see challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. They look at challenges as a chance to develop their skills, to learn new skills, to expand their knowledge, to push beyond comfort zones. They're looking at things a little differently. And instead of shying away from these difficult tasks, if you have a growth mindset, you're actively seeking out challenges and embracing them because it means that you are acquiring personal and professional development. So when these things happen, you can, go with your gut feeling, your knee jerk reaction that we all have, right? That you just want to quit, you want to run away, you want to hide, or you can say, you know what? I'm going to have a growth mindset about this. I'm going to accept this just as a challenge that I need to figure out how to overcome. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to learn from it. And that changes everything because embracing challenges with a growth mindset fosters resilience, adaptability, and it helps you to navigate any uncertainties and setbacks more effectively. The next thing to be able to have a growth mindset is you need to be able to adapt to change. That one's a tricky one sometimes because as much as we are, we love new things, or a lot of us love new things, we also are creatures of habit. I love, something new and bright, shiny, but I also am such a creature of habit that sometimes change is hard. I have to wrap my mind around it. But I want to have a growth mindset. So if I know that I want to have a growth mindset about it, I tell myself I'm going to have a growth mindset about this. It allows me to embrace and adapt to the change. And maybe that's a change in my personal life, in my business life. Maybe it's changes in the industry or the market conditions, the business landscape. I mean, the last few years have been pretty rocky in the business world on figuring out what do we need to pivot, adapt, change. What is it that needs to happen to be able to still keep our businesses going the way they need to, even though the industries have changed, the market has changed, the business landscape has changed. And let's be honest, we have people, we've changed, and that's okay, right? We have to learn to see change as an opportunity for innovation, for reinvention, and to be able to think ahead to stay ahead of the curve. And so instead of fearing or resisting change, to be able to have a growth mindset, we need to start thinking about being open to these new ideas, being open to feedback that people give us and perspectives that other people have. We need to actively seek out to learn any opportunities that may be evolving and learn how to create strategies to be able to pivot whenever it's necessary. I mean, I think it's so important to do because adapting to change with a growth mindset, it enables us to stay agile and also to be able to seize any emerging opportunities and thrive no matter what is going on in the environment. The next thing to be able to adapt to a growth mindset and accept your growth mindset is to be able to look at failures as stepping stones. This one's hard, guys, especially if you're kind of younger in your entrepreneurial business journey. Your first few failures feel like you've just been beat, like you've been punched in the gut and you don't know why you ever started and you don't know what you need to do to get out of this big giant mess that you made because you've made the wrong decision. You should have never quit your corporate job. You should have never, 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 right? No, you have to realize that failures is how we learn. Failures it sounds like such an ugly negative word, but you have to kind of flip the narrative on it. It's not. Failure really just means that you tried it and that wasn't the way that you wanted to do it or the way that it needed to be done. But, even farther than that, if you're going to have a growth mindset, you need to look at failures as a stepping stone for where you want to be. Entrepreneurs and people who want to have a growth mindset, they look at failures as valuable learning experiences and look at them as stepping stones to where they want to be, to success. And they understand that any setbacks and mistakes are literally part of the learning process. And it also provides with us with valuable insights for what we need to improve next time. So, when you're going through this, rather than getting discouraged or, giving up and quitting, ugly crying, that was me. Um, if you're going to have a growth mindset, you need to think about and analyze kind of what went wrong. You know, did I do something wrong? Was it the wrong moment? What happened? Just to analyze that, not to assign a blame to it necessarily, but to understand it, because you want to understand what went wrong so you can extract the lessons from it and use that knowledge to adjust what you need to do and try again, because you need to be able to view the failures as the stepping stones, and that'll encourage you to take calculated risks. So I always say I am a risk taker. I am such a risk taker. I am definitely that, ooh, that sounds like a great idea. And I just like dive off the cliff. And that's worked out amazing for me sometimes. And sometimes I have like crashed and burned and dragged myself up the other side. And so there's a gray area there, right? You don't want to give up and quit and not take risks, but you also want to have calculated risks. My rule to myself, since I know I am naturally a risk taker, is I don't risk what I can't afford to lose. And you can talk about that as a monetary thing. You can talk about that as a physical thing, mental load, relationships, whatever. But I don't risk what I can't afford to lose. And what that is you're going to have to sit and have a discussion with yourself and have a meeting with yourself to say, what does that actually mean? For me, monetarily, what can I afford to lose? Is it $20? Is it $200? Is it $20,000? What is it that I can risk and be okay if I lose it? Because there's always a risk, but that's the thing. Doing something, there's a risk. Doing nothing, there's a risk. And for me, doing nothing, that's the most terrifying risk, is to wish you had tried something. So, you need to really think about how you're going forward, but actually realize that failures and is part of it. And you can learn from those experiences and be able to refine your strategies as you go on. The next step in adapting a growth mindset is being able to cultivate a love for learning. Like we mentioned before, you can learn a lot from those failures, from those setbacks. And you want to love learning. Even if it's not from a failure and a setback, you're cultivating and actively seeking out opportunities to learn, because a growth mindset is fertile soil for that seed. It's fertile soil to make it grow. It's fertile soil for a love of learning and a belief in the power of continuous personal and professional development. Entrepreneurs that are actively seeking out knowledge, skills, experiences to be able to expand their expertise, they stay ahead of the industry. And that is huge, and they also embrace any feedback. I've said that a couple of times because it's so important. I think sometimes if somebody gives us feedback, we can get all butthurt and be like, oh, they hated it. No, you need to get that feedback. That feedback is huge, to be able to see it as an opportunity for growth and improvement. That is what a growth mindset is for. It's to accept, like, oh, this was really great. I had this done great, but this over here needs tweaked next time, right? So you have to be open to constructive criticism, and you can use it to refine any skills you have and approaches that you've made, and use that to cultivate the love for learning. And really, it also helps you to adapt to any evolving trends and embrace innovation, because you are open to what else is going on from other perspectives. If you stay siloed in your own little world and you're only doing things the way you want to, and you're not seeking feedback and seeking to learn and actively searching for these things, you're going to kind of just remain where you are. And, a growth mindset says that while we are content and we love where we are because we're living a positive, mindset life, it's okay to want more, to want to grow, to want to, reach for the stars on things. The next step on your positive life journey is cultivating self awareness. Self awareness is one of those things that typically gets skipped over early on in your business ownership journey, your entrepreneur journey, because we are usually bombarded on a minute by minute basis with all the things that we would be, should be, could be doing in our business because we are chasing success like it's some like unicorn, right? And the funny thing is as you've been in business for a while, you realize that just like a positive, mindset, just like a lot of things in life, you are developing it, you are creating it. So you create your own success, you create your own version of success, you create your own definition of success. And once you get to a certain point in your mindset, you realize that that all starts with you. And to be able to do that, you have to cultivate your own self awareness. And the first step to that it is to be able to practice mindfulness. Engaging in mindfulness, such as meditation, mindful breathing, it helps put you in the present moment. That is a challenge for a lot of entrepreneurs because most of us are visionaries and most of us are super, energetic and hyperactive. And I can remember back in the day when people would tell me that I needed to meditate, I would be like, ha ha, I can't even sit still for like 5 seconds. And you want me to meditate for like 30 minutes? You're insane. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be the TV version of meditation. It can be, or maybe you need to work up to that. But it just means that you are breathing mindfully, you are in the moment, you are aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, and you're doing that without judgment. You're just allowing yourself to gain insight on your patterns and reactions. Now, in time, you can help to, kind of cultivate that and narrow that in the direction you want to go for your positive mindset. But the very beginning, if you're just starting out on this mindfulness journey, you just want to be aware. Like you want to sit with yourself and observe how you think, like, especially in moments of high stress or when things aren't going as planned. What is your knee jerk reaction? I mentioned earlier knee jerk reaction. My knee jerk reaction, my instant like thought when something goes not the way I planned is I just want to quit. I want to run away. That is my instant knee jerk reaction. Like freak out. But that's not what I want. And if I actually did quit, I would not be happy with myself. So I have to be aware of my patterns, be aware of my reactions, and realize that's not what I want to do. And ask myself, okay, well, what do I need to do to calm my emotions, to calm my behaviors? And for me, what I have figured out is when I have that instant knee jerk reaction of I just want to quit and burn it all to the ground and give up if something, is not going right, is I make myself sit with it. I'm allowed to quit. I tell myself, fine, you're allowed to quit, but I have a waiting period. You can quit. You just have to wait a week. You can quit next week. So if it's Monday at 8 a.m. when things go awry, next Monday at 8 a.m., if you still want to quit, you can. But the funny part of that is when I have a waiting period, I don't quit. Why? Because my instant knee jerk reaction, my pattern is that I just want to quit. I want that ugly, yucky feeling to go away. But my like realistic side of myself realizes that's not what I want. I just want to not feel like that. So how do I make myself not feel like that? So, really developing, an idea on how you normally behave and how you handle your emotions allows you to figure out how you need to develop to be able to develop a greater sense of self-awareness, to be more attuned to any thoughts, emotions, sensations when they arise. If they know, that they're going to go in a way that you're not wanting them to go, you can put these fail safes in place to be able to counteract that. Another thing, if you're just kind of starting on your self awareness journey, is journaling. Now, I say that with caution. I am not the sit down and write, "Dear diary, today I" that's not my style journaling. I know lots of people who do, and they do amazing at it. I've tried it, and I have about 32 journals with like 3 sentences in it and 45 stickers. And I've spent approximately like, I don't know, $500 on, I don't even know how much I've spent. A lot of money on all that stuff for me to write 3 sentences because I can't journal like that. Now, journaling itself, the point of journaling itself is to set aside dedicated time to reflect, to write down thoughts, experiences, observations about you or your business journey or whatever is going on, because it helps you to gain clarity and to identify any patterns and uncover any underlying beliefs or behaviors that may be holding you back. So it's literally providing a space for self reflection and self expression. I can get behind that, but the way I do it is different. I do like bullet journaling. I actually teach some journaling classes because I found I like that because I am free to do whatever. I'm a doodler. I love to doodle. I do still love to do the stickers. I will write some words and sometimes my 3 sentences. But for me, the idea that I had to like write all this stuff out, what I thought quote unquote journaling was, it didn't work for me. So I did want to include this in here because I do think it is super important, but I also want to lead with that disclaimer to say it has to be something that works for you. If it works for you to sit down and like Dear Diary style write it all out and kind of like brain dump it, that's fine. I'm more of a bullet point. I do brain dump, but mine's more like bullet point one words, some mind mapping, some doodles, some stickers. So whatever works for you. The idea is that you're holding that space to self reflection and self expression. The next step to be able to cultivate your self awareness, again, we've said this so many times in this webinar, is seek feedback. Actively seeking feedback from trusted mentors, peers, colleagues, friends, anybody that can provide constructive insights about your strengths and weaknesses or blind spots. We need that. We all have them. Honest feedback helps you gain a different perspective on yourself and uncovers any patterns or behaviors that you're not aware of. You have to be open to receiving feedback and be able to use that for growth. For it's an opportunity for growth. So, if you don't have that mentor, if you don't have kind of that mastermind team, you need to find it. And I know it can be hard to find people like that, but networking is a great way to kind of do that. But you need to be able to have the opportunity to seek feedback. The next thing is identify limiting beliefs. Pay attention to yourself and your inner dialogue. It is so important. Notice any reoccurring thoughts or beliefs that's self-limiting or negative. If you get dressed and the first thought in your head is, "Oh, I'm so fat," or "I hate the way I look in this," or whatever, that's negative self-talk. Those are self-limiting. They're not good for you. So you need to start challenging these limiting beliefs by questioning their validity and exploring alternative perspectives. And one way to do that is maybe to replace them with something that's more empowering and supportive that aligns with your goals or aspirations. So, take that same framework of, "Oh, I look so fat in this. I don't know why I wore this," and turn that into, "You know what? My body is so strong. And, it does amazing things. And it allows me to, create this amazing business," or whatever the case may be. It's literally reframing it into something more positive. Notice your triggers and patterns. Again, we've mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again because you have to pay attention to those patterns, those thoughts, those emotions, behaviors that come up in different situations. Notice what triggers you. What triggers those reactions, those emotions from you. Identify those patterns, identify those triggers, and understand what your automatic responses are to be able to choose a more constructive alternative response. The next thing is make time for self reflection. Regularly set aside time for self reflection, either through activities such as, like, I like to go on hikes. I love hiking. You know, that is another type of meditation for me. So practicing in hobbies of facilitate the ability to self-respect or self-reflect, not self-respect. You should have self-respect though. To be able to self-reflect is huge. So during these moments, you can ask yourself questions about, your values, your motivations, your fears, and your aspirations. And it allows you to engage in deep, like self-inquiry and to gain a deeper understanding about yourself. The next thing is consider professional support. Sometimes we need help. I've had coaches, consultants, therapists. Maria needs lots of help lots of times, and that's okay. You If you are kind of on this journey and you still keep feeling stuck, consider seeking support of coaches, therapists, mentors that can help guide you on this self-awareness journey. Having those people can really help provide valuable insights, tools, techniques, and help you to uncover and address limiting beliefs and negative patterns. I think, that's one of the best decisions that I ever made, was being able to kind of step out and ask for help. That was a hard one for me. All right. So the next thing on your positive mindset journey is shifting your perspective. So one of those things is practicing cognitive reframing. So cognitive reframing involves consciously like shifting your challenging perspective and like thinking about it from a new perspective, right? So you're going to challenge the way you're thinking. You're going to shift it. So when you're faced with a setback or obstacle, you intentionally are seeking an alternative interpretation or way of viewing the situation. And I think that's huge because sometimes we tend to make everything a catastrophe. And if things are, coming at us, instead of like freaking out, we need to say, okay, well, this is something that, number one, I have a plan for. Number two, I can handle. It's an opportunity to look for hidden opportunities, right? Or we hear that term silver linings. So looking for the silver linings or making lemonade out of lemons, that's kind of ways of talking about reframing. You need to ask yourself questions like, what can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger through this experience? Those are some great reframing questions to help you like take setbacks as learning experiences and helps to spark creativity and problem solving. Another thing that you can do to be able to shift your perspective is to seek inspiration. Look at successful entrepreneurs or other individuals that you admire who have overcome significant challenges. Read their stories, listen to their interviews, attend their talks, sit down for a coffee chat, gain inspiration and insights from their experiences and how they reframed their setbacks as opportunities. This can literally change everything. It provides you with an alternative perspective and helps to motivate you to approach challenges with resilience and determination. The next step in being able to shift your perspective is to cultivate gratitude and appreciation. I think that a lot of us remember to say like thank you for something, but actually cultivating, gratitude and appreciation effectively can be a challenge for some of us. But gratitude practice can help shift your focus from any setbacks as well. And it shifts it to the positive aspects of your journey instead of focusing on, the setbacks or the negative parts, right? And regularly taking time to reflect on and appreciate like all the progress you've made to this point, the skills you've acquired, the lessons you've learned, all of those things is so important. And expressing the gratitude for the opportunities presented by these setbacks and obstacles helps you reframe them as valuable experiences that contribute to growth. The next step in shifting your perspective is surrounding yourself with supportive people, supportive networks. This is so important. Building a network of like-minded individuals who share similar goals, aspirations, and whatnot is so important to any entrepreneur journey because it allows us to use those people as masterminds. It allows us to help them help us. It creates this symbiotic relationship that allows us to have shared experiences, to have shared perspectives, and it helps to refresh our insights and help reframe setbacks more effectively because we have other people that is giving their perspective saying, hey, I've been through this before too, and this is how I got over it, or, whatever the case may be. It's important to have that kind of support during challenging times because we can get so lost in the middle of it, and being able to collaborate and learn from other people's approaches to how they overcome their setbacks and obstacles helps us to reframe our own obstacles and be able to get through those setbacks more effectively. The next thing is practice resilience building techniques. Cultivating resilience through practices like the mindfulness, the self-care, self-compassion. These are all some techniques that help to develop emotional strength and helps you bounce back from setbacks with a positive outlook. One of the things that I try to do, like I mentioned before, is hiking is a huge part of my life. Another thing that I do is I do yoga every day, even if it's only 5 minutes, because I like the way that it makes me feel. It allows me to be more mindful, more present. It allows me to feel like I am choosing to do something for me. It's not for anybody else, right? So engaging in activities that help to rejuvenate you, recharge you, this allows you to approach challenges with a fresh perspective and a renewed energy, which is so important. All right, the next thing we want to talk about on this journey of positivity is harnessing gratitude. We mentioned this before, so I'm just going to glaze over it, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit more here only because gratitude journaling is a way of kind of putting out everything that you're thankful for that day, which I have incorporated into my bullet journaling. Again, if you're the type of person that wants to have the long format, like full-fledged true journaling experience, that's great. That did not work for me. So for me, it was sitting down to do my style of bullet journaling with my doodles, with my words, and dedicating a few minutes of that each day to write down things I was grateful for. And it took a little while to develop that habit, but because at first I was kind of like, what am I am grateful for the sky, the kids, you know what I mean? But really, I was thinking so high up, I needed to get super specific. So I started making a habit to jot down just 3, 4, 5 things that I was grateful for that happened that day. I was specific and I focused on, both big and small moments. And so maybe it was a supportive team member or positive customer feedback or even a beautiful sunrise, anything that uplifted your spirit. That went into my gratitude bullet journal. And, sometimes I'd write it as a word, sometimes I would draw it as a picture. But the key was to regularly reflect on what I was grateful for because it helps train the mind to actively seek and appreciate positive things in life. The next thing is you need to understand the benefits of harnessing gratitude. Gratitude promotes positive mindset by shifting your focus from what is lacking to what you appreciate in your life and your journey. Because it's so easy to accidentally be blinded to all of the things that we have amazing in our life because we are so focused on where we want to be. We're so blinded by kind of that destination, and we can just see it and we can smell it and we can taste it and we want to get there. And those things are great. But if you're like passing up all of the amazing things that's happening in your life, you are missing out on the story. You're missing out on the bulk of it and you're just skipping right to the end. So it's like starting a movie and fast forwarding to the end and just watching the ending part. You don't want to do that. That's going to ruin the movie. You want to experience every second of your life, the good, the bad, the ups, the downs, the sideways. That is the story. That is the journey. So being grateful just for every little thing can make your life so much more. So harnessing gratitude and understanding the benefits of that is huge because gratitude improves your mental well-being. It reduces stress, it reduces anxiety, it reduces depression. Gratitude also helps to cultivate a sense of contentment, satisfaction, and happiness. Practicing gratitude also enhances your relationships because it fosters empathy. It helps with connection. It shows kindness. It promotes a positive social environment and it strengthens any type of bonds. You know, one of those things that I think we accidentally do, especially if you're in a committed relationship, like you're married or you have a partner, is that we accidentally take them for granted. Like we may notice that they didn't, put their towel in the hamper, but we didn't notice the other 20 things that they did that day. So, I think it's important that we sometimes take a step back and be grateful for the things that they did. Be grateful for the things that they're trying to do and not only point out to kind of where they're lacking. And the same goes for ourselves. We don't want to only pick out the little parts that we think we should do better and more of. There's nothing wrong with, again, fostering, the idea of growth, having a growth mindset. But again, you need to be grateful for what you've acquired, grateful for what you've learned. And, being able to balance those is the key. The next thing to be able to harness your gratitude is kind of develop and create your own gratitude rituals. And what I mean by that is you need to kind of set a plan, a schedule that suits your own preferences and your own schedule for the day. For example, you can start, every day by expressing your gratitude, or maybe you end every day with expressing your gratitude. Developing a gratitude practice that kind of resonates with you specifically, such as writing thank you notes or sending emails to your team that shows appreciation. Those are things that really helps to create this gratitude ritual and allows you to harness just the positivity mindset through gratitude. The next thing on the list is make it active. Again, incorporate gratitude into your physical activities. Take it on your hikes, your walks. Focus your attention on what's going on in the environment around you that you appreciate. Beautiful trees, landscapes, flowers, breezes, the sound of the birds. During meditation or any mindful practices, integrate gratitude by intentionally reflecting on what you're grateful for. Direct your attention to the present moment and cultivate a sense of appreciation. So if you're, having a quiet moment, just think about, how the birds are tweeting or whatever the case may be. Half the time when I'm trying to do mine, my kids are screaming and fighting, and kind of my instant gut reaction is, oh, they won't stop fighting. But if I'm trying to be in my moment, my Zen moment, I'll try to, find something that even in that I can appreciate, that, they're happy and healthy. Even when they're fighting, they're still happy. They love it. The next thing on the list for harnessing your gratitude is creating gratitude partnerships. You're probably starting to notice a theme here because every one of these steps incorporates similar things. Finding an accountability partner or gratitude buddy is huge. You can share your lists or your moments of appreciation with each other regularly, and it helps to really foster that sense of gratitude. This practice actually deepens your gratitude experience by providing mutual support and inspires each other to maintain a gratitude mindset. I have a couple of people that I do this with on different levels, and one of the things you need to realize about, um, positivity is not something that's, all meditation and Zen and alming. I mentioned that earlier. Um, we tend to think about it that way, but in reality, it's just deciding that we are going to focus on the things that we appreciate. We're going to focus on the things that make us happy. We're going to appreciate and focus on the things that we're learning. And, I have a few people that kind of we do this positivity and gratitude partnership with that, we're I'm a sarcastic person. It's my love language. And, with those people that we have that symbiotic relationship on, some of our gratitude, may look a little differently than, the perfectly put out poetic, gratitude journals. And, it's fine. The idea of this is to do something that works for you and to deepen your gratitude experience and to really develop and harness what you appreciate in your life. The next step is to reflect on your journey. You need to really think about your journey periodically and identify any challenges or setbacks that you're grateful for. And I know in the moment, you're not going to be grateful for them. You're going to be like, this really sucks and I don't want to be here. But afterward, when you look back, you can actually find little lessons, little moments of personal growth, unexpected opportunities, all these things that arose from that setback, from that terrible situation. And I think it's important to realize these things, not that we are necessarily thankful that whatever terrible thing happened itself, but we are thankful because we were able to learn a lesson from it. We are thankful because we were still able to develop personal growth from it. We were able to have unexpected opportunities from it. And, this reflection helps to reframe any difficult situations that you have been in or are in now as catalysts for growth. And it helps to cultivate resilience. It doesn't mean you're thankful for the terrible thing. It means you're thankful that you are resilient. You are thankful that you are able to grow. You are thankful that you are able to find unexpected opportunities. And the next step with that is just expressing gratitude as a whole. Keep showing appreciation to yourself, keep showing appreciation to your team, to your relationships. And honestly, that's the key to harnessing gratitude is by practicing gratitude. About relationships are one of those things that we don't think about as being a support system for us. And depending on what type of relationship you're in, sometimes they don't feel very supportive. But positive relationships do provide support. And that support system helps to uplift and motivate you and inspire you during challenging times. So it's important to surround yourself with supportive individuals who believe in your abilities and goals because that really helps you to stay focused. Positive relationships also help you foster collaboration and really helps you to exchange ideas as well because when you're sitting in a room with other like-minded individuals, you're able to talk about your ideas, your skills, your knowledge, and being able to do that sparks creativity, innovation, fresh perspectives. And that's why networking groups are so great because if you network with other people in your field or related fields or other people who are just on this entrepreneur or small business journey, it allows you to learn from their experiences. You can literally gain so many insights into best practices in business, discover new opportunities, even collaborate for partnerships. Building relationships is one of those things that I don't think we think about a lot, whenever it comes to just our positive mindset development. But positive relationships help you to be able to do anything that you need to do. And I mentioned this again for personal and professional development specifically because you know we can really team up with people on different thought processes and create things. You can participate in workshops with people, conferences. You can collaborate and create an event. So when you're thinking about really fostering a positive mindset, think outside of the box on how you can take those positive relationships and build into that journey or take that journey and build positive relationships because it works back and forth. Positive relationships are also very important for accountability and growth because it helps to keep you focused on your goals. Having those people in your life that keeps pushing you forward to strive for excellence, is important because accountability partners or networks can help you stay on track. And, it can really challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone and set higher standards and continuously improve yourself in your business, which is important because I think sometimes we can kind of feel stuck and maybe afraid to step forward and move in a new direction. So it's important to always be open for networking opportunities because that allows you to connect and build relationships with people that you would otherwise never meet. So again, organizing events, workshops, online communities, and interacting with people and sharing experiences is huge. So when you go to a lot of these networking events, don't think of it as a 30-second commercial type of a thing. Really encourage yourself to connect with people and follow up with each other to foster an environment of mutual support. Another thing is you need to really learn to actively listen, because building positive relationships requires you actively listening and showing empathy, because it shows that you are genuinely interested in other people's perspectives and stories, and that you're ready to offer support and advice where needed. So you need to practice empathy by putting yourself in other people's shoes and understanding their challenges and offerings, and offering their kindness to them. I think it's important to understand that, everybody's on their own journey, and sometimes they may be the person that's offering you support, but then sometimes they need support as well. And I think that is critical. Another thing is to learn to nurture through that. So nurturing really means continuing to follow up. So I know it's hard. We all live busy lives. And I know I have a hard time with this as well. As, I can like fall off a cliff for a while because I get so hyper focused on whatever is going on with my kids, my life, my business. But it's important to really think about following up and contributing to the relationship that you have. And, celebrate successes that they've had, reach out and check in on them, whatever the case may be. But it's important to continue to nurture these relationships that you create. The last step is, and we're going to talk about a few of these, but you got to take action, right? It doesn't matter. We can talk about these things all day, but if you don't take action, then it's pointless. So you need to begin by identifying specific areas of your life where you want to cultivate positivity. And so, maybe you want to start specifically with your mindset, because that is where, obviously you're creating that fertile soil. But you also need to think about, how are you going to take that change of mindset and implement that into your relationships, your work-life balance, your business goals. You need to think about what would benefit you the most from a positive shift in your mindset, and start to focus intentionally on that. You also need to set SMART goals. So we've all heard the acronym SMART, which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. I thought I was going to forget that for a second, but I didn't. So you need to do that. You need to create goals that are specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're relevant, and they're time bound, because those goals help to align with your desired positive outcomes. And, utilizing them in this fashion provides clarity and focus, and it makes it easier to track your progress and to stay motivated. For example, if you focus on your mindset, a SMART goal could be, I'm going to practice daily mindset affirmations for 10 minutes every morning for the next 30 days. That's a very specific goal, a very measurable goal, very attainable goal. It's very relevant, and it's time bound. So that would be something that I can put into action right away on my journey. Another thing that you need to do is break down your SMART goals into actionable steps. So to do that, you need to determine what specific actions you need to take to achieve that goal. And you need to make sure that those actions are clear and tangible and measurable. And it's a good idea to assign deadlines or milestones or whatever to keep yourself accountable and on track. I like to just schedule appointments with myself in my calendar, because I live by my Google Calendar. And so that works the best for me. You should also implement positive habits and strategies. So identifying positive habits and strategies helps to support your goals and promotes positivity. So these things could include mindfulness, gratitude, visualization, self-care, engaging in activities that bring you joy, like hiking or kayaking. If you incorporate these habits and strategies in your weekly or even daily routines, you can start small and consistently, but have those actions that are achievable, and then gradually build on them. The next thing is you're going to want to create a routine. Creating a routine is huge because, like I said, I schedule it in with myself, but designing a schedule or a routine that accommodates your action steps and positive habits helps you to set it aside, like a dedicated time that you're practicing that positivity and working towards your goals. Because if not, we all know we're all busy, and it ends up being one of those things that we're going to do it later, wink wink, and then later never comes. So integrating these activities into your existing schedule can make literally make them non-negotiable. So you're making an appointment with yourself that you're not going to break, because consistency is key to creating any type of long-lasting change, and that is what we want. You also need to be able to monitor your progress. So regularly monitor your progress towards your goals and be honest with yourself. You need to keep track of your actions, like milestones you've achieved, any challenges faced when you've broke appointments with yourself, because lying to yourself does no good, right? So I mean, we're really good at negotiating with ourselves because we know what negotiations work on ourselves, right? But you've got to keep yourself like on track towards your goals and reflect on any of the experiences that you've had. And if you find yourself kind of breaking those appointments with yourself, you need to ask yourself, what needs adjusting? Because obviously something needs adjusted if I'm not even making these appointments with myself. And then also remember that when you succeed and you make it, you celebrate your successes. And if you continuously keep finding setbacks that are kind of out of your control, learn from them and kind of adapt the approach that works within your life and what's going on within your life, but also is aligned with your positive intentions. And the next thing is get support. Again, it's hard to do all the things on our own. So finding an accountability partner or a support group or a coach or a consultant really helps, because you can have someone that you check in with, that you share successes with. They can provide support, and that literally helps to enhance your commitment and motivation and chances of success on this whole journey. And it also allows you to engage in discussions and to share insights and seek guidance from people, which again is important. It's an important part of this journey. And then the next thing is you need to reflect and adjust. Again, we mentioned this a bunch of times, but it's so important. If you're not reflecting on what's going on, what's happened, and being honest, and you're not adjusting it to accommodate any changes or circumstances or priorities that's gone on, then you're going to be dead in the water, because you have to continuously reflect and adjust. This is literally something that you will do for the rest of your life, is reflect and adjust. I have appointments standing in my calendar that I have all the time where I'm reflecting on what's going on and I'm adjusting. I do them every week on a certain level. I have certain times quarterly that I do them on a bigger level. And then yearly, it is a deep dive into how did Maria's year go? And I think it's important to do that because it's like our own life analytics. It tells us what went right, what went wrong, how do we feel? Because you can look at, some analytics and it tells you one story, but it doesn't tell you the whole story. If I want to know how somebody's business is doing as a whole, but I'm only looking at their, Facebook interactions, does that tell me much? No. It's kind of one of those things that we have to look at different analytics for different things. And if you know that your holistic 30,000-foot view of your journey is to live a positive, happy life, because that's what most of us want. We can, call it lots of different things, but if we dial it way back, we basically all want the same things. We want to be happy, we want to be healthy, we want to live a positive life, we want our family and our loved ones to also be happy and healthy and live a positive life, right? An abundant life, live life to the fullest. That's what we all want. That it's just the details come down to how do we get there? Where are we at now? What do we have in our reach to be able to get there? And how do we, cultivate just a growth mindset to still allow us to get where we need to be no matter where we're at now? And I think that is the biggest thing that you need to realize and take away from this. And I know we ended up getting off the Zoom because of some stuff. So if you do have some questions, you can pop them in the comments and somebody will come back and answer them later on. You can also reach out to me at info@successfullychaotic.com if you want to learn any more about this at all. I can't say enough about kind of that positive mindset approach. And it's something I'm super passionate about. And I teach deeper dives in. This is a quick 1 hour overview of a lot of it, but it's one of those things that living a positive life sounds so simple, but it also sounds so confusing. unless you really dial it back to say, what does that actually mean? How do I implement that into my own life? And so I really am glad that you ended up joining us today on this journey toward a more positive and growth oriented mindset. So I'm encouraging you to go forth and kind of take that action towards achieving your goals. And, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.